Alright everyone, I'm obviously Falados, as always down here in the console. Have a lot of things to get through today, so just gonna jump right into it, as always. Don't forget to rate or like, subscribe, and all those fun things. Uh, Essentially what I've been working on the last week or so is adding RP skill features. uh, which is why I now have so many characters, is for the variation in those skill features. But the other big thing that necessitated was me redoing the prompts into ChatGPT, which has actually added this new override narrative style. So because the RP skills are in play, uh, there's just so many more options that the game has to now present to ChatGPT, which required me to redo the prompt, which actually allows me to give it the narrative style now very easily. And all of these are the options. Uh, I'll just go through a few of them. Atmospheric. This style focuses on evoking a specific feeling or mood, using vivid sensory descriptions to draw the reader into the scene. uh, Gothic, characterized by elements of horror, death, and romance, often set against a dark and foreboding environment. Uh, for all you Lovecraft fans out there, there's Lovecraftian, so if you want to adventure into your own Lovecraft story, you can set this there. Name for the author, H.P. Lovecraft. This style is characterized by the elaborate descriptions and pervasive sense of dread, and the suggestion of horrors that are beyond human comprehension. Same thing with Holmesian. If you want to be in your own Sherlock Holmes adventures, you can do that now as well. Uh, One here that's probably going to be fairly popular, I have a feeling, is minimalistic. This style uses simple, straightforward language to describe the scene, avoiding embellishment or excessive detail. Just to give you guys an example, let's go ahead and just create some of these. I won't play an entire dungeon with any of these, but part of redoing that prompt is I've made the prompts more condensed, and especially in the case of minimalistic, that means less information is also coming back, and I did not mean to do a random dungeon, but that's fine. As Xanthia approached the entrance to the Grydosh mines, she was greeted by the sight of a once thriving dwarven kingdom now reduced to rubble. The once proud city now hugs the slope of the Glydos Mountains, like a scarred wound. The streets are lined with broken down buildings and the remains of machinery, and the destruction caused by the mountain's eruption is evident almost 500 years later. As she approaches the entrance to the mine, she feels a chill run down her spines. A sense of foreboding rings through her ears. Queen Talia had specifically tasked her with investigating the reports of activity from the Grydosh mines. The ancient golem mining dwarf kingdom had been abandoned for half a century, and the sudden return of activity has aroused suspicion. Xanthia has been chosen for her expertise as an assassin and fire wizard, armed with her rare mace and magical short sword. Yeah. I'll get the change in the actual dungeon descriptions. The introduction is always going to be a little bit long because I told it to always provide the information required, or all the background information required. So let's go ahead and examine. Examine is one of the things that will key most of the RP mechanics, because you have to look at an object and all of your passive checks end up taking place when you examine. Xanthia approaches the rusting iron door, studying it intently. She notices an illusion spell cast upon it and determines that it's also locked through a physical means. So Xanthia is both a wizard and an assassin, detected that there's both some sort of illusion and that she can pick the lock. Let's do the pick lock just to try. Xanthia carefully examines the lock of the rusting iron door. With a deft touch, she manipulates the mechanism on the door, and it clicks open. You can already see Minimalistic, very, very short descriptions, and they actually return from OpenAI fairly quickly. I'll just loot. Xanthia approaches the fallen tin golem, a testament to her skill as an assassin. She quickly searches the golem's remains, finding a meager loot of 6 silver coins and a handful of bronze coins. So, for all the people that don't like to read a lot, minimalistic will be your choice. Like I said, we're just going to do a few of these just to give you an idea. You can also just sit there and say no override, and that lets the level decide the narration of it. Let's try Gothic, just to so you guys can see the difference. And we're back into random levels, which I shouldn't be doing because we could end up getting the test level. Dun dun dun. Then you guys would see how I test the game all the time. Xanthia approaches the entrance to the dungeon. Her heightened senses pick up on the unsettling aura emanating from within. The air is thick with a sense, the stench of decay, and the sounds of rattling chains echo through the walls. She knows that the cultists of Mir are hard at work within these walls, plotting and scheming to bring forth the demon to the kingdom of Queen Mentalia. To the kingdom. Queen Mentalia had trusted her with putting an end to their plans before it's too late. With her mace and magical short sword at the ready, Xanthia cautiously stepped towards the entrance, her eyes scanning for any signs of danger. As she steps closer, she can see the intricate carvings etched into the stone walls depicting scenes of twisted and violent rituals. The very air seems to thrum with the unholy energy, and you can feel the tendrils of malevolent magic wrapping around her. Undaunted, she draws on her training as an assassin and fire wizard and moves deeper into the dungeon. The shadows closing in around her. She knows that the cultists will not give up without a fight, but she refuses to back down. Queen Mentalia's safety and the fate of the kingdom is at stake. Xanthia will stop at nothing to put an end to the cultists of Mir and their demonic plans. So, fairly different than the minimalistic. Unfortunately, this is the test level. Good old test dungeon 2. So we will abandon this one as well. And this time I will make sure to actually select one. We will do the Cultist of Mir summon. And chat is quiet today. Is there a preference for what you guys would like to see? It will even do a Shakespearean format. Just to show you guys. Just to show. Because why not? I can read some poetry. Oh, it did. But it did not give me Shakespeare. Or at least not this time. As Xanthia approaches the entrance to the cultists of Mir dungeon, she couldn't help but shudder at the ominous feeling that permeated the air. The Dragonspine Mountains loomed tall and foreboding, casting deep shadows within the crevices between the jagged rocks. The cultist fortress, carved deep within the granite cliffs, appeared as it had been absorbed the darkness around it like a sponge, and now radiated an eerie red glow that filled Xanthia with apprehension. She had been sent by Queen Mentalia to stop them from completing their nefarious ritual, one that sought the summons of a powerful demon of Mir. Xanthia knew all too well the horrors that would ensue if they succeeded bringing forth the Naga goddess's wrath. The cult demanded regular sacrifices to appease her, their twisted faith and her superiority driving them into madness. The fortress was a testament to their fascination, decorated with horrific symbols and adornment that remained with the remains of their countless victims. Xanthia knew that the minions of Mir were formidable foes, and her heart raced as she stepped closer to the entrance. And we obviously have to fight this wraith. You guys are probably bored of seeing me do combat a bazillion times. Should probably drink a health pot. Alright, we obviously have a door here. Let's see if it triggers any RP skills. Xanthia's seasoned elf of royal descent fixated her gaze upon the locked stone door, dabbled with ghostly green ruins and flanked by serpent gargoyles. The ruins pulsated with a buzzing and otherworldly hum, unsettling the air around them. Xanthia deduced that the magical door, locked without a key, was crackable in one way or another. Her eagle's eyes had also landed upon the two angelic statues, and it soon became clear that there was a strange and furtive connection between the two. The unspoken question weighed heavily in the air. What horrors and perils lay beyond the green glowing door? So, in this case, I might be able to break it with a dispel. We will see. We will see. Xanthia, with the real grace of her kindred, fixated her powers upon the magical lock securing the green glowing portal. Her magical aura glowed forth, piercing through the ruins and trying to empower the ward. Oh, but yet, alas, the magic was too strong to be broken easily, and Xanthia would have to seek another way if she were to unlock the mysteries beyond the Serpentine's door. Well, let's try to bash it down. See if that works. Probably not. And we will... Oh, that actually hurt me. Xanthia, with a brave and daring spirit, fixated her gaze upon the glowing green portal and took it upon her rare mace. With a fierce and violent strike, she bashed the door with all of her might. Alas! The superficial cracked form upon the surface of the door was too resilient and sturdy to give way easily. Suddenly, in a flash of malevolence, the door lashed out, causing a heavy blow to Xanthia, which caused grave injury. So that's Shakespearean. And we will go ahead and abandon that dungeon, because I don't feel like reading Old English all night long. Is there anything that people want to see? We will just try some of the humorous ones. We will go with sarcastic, just because. So you guys can get a feel. This should all be deployed tomorrow. Not that many people are going to be playing, with it being Diablo 4 early access day, but you never know. I do have a couple of bugs to fix before that happens. As the sun peeked over the horizon, Xanthia trudged up the Dragonspine Mountains with an impressive display of sass and annoyance. The queen had sent her to investigate this supposedly exciting activity in the abandoned mines of Grydosh, which meant that she had to wake up at an ungodly hour and hike up the god-forsaken mountain. Joy! 500 years of abandonment apparently wasn't enough to deter the dwarves from returning to their golem-making ways. Xanthia rolled her eyes at the thought of more clunky metal men chasing after her, though the potential reward of piles of treasure was definitely worth the risk. Plus, what kind of assassin and fire wizard would she be if she didn't jump at the chance to roast some golems? As she neared the entrance of the mine, she couldn't help but wonder what kind of shenanigans awaited her inside. So, obviously you can see it's being sarcastic, which is what we told it to do. Or what I told it to do. You lived. Why did you live? We can go ahead and loot all, just so you guys can get a feel. Xanthia wastes no time in rifling through the metallic corpses of the 10 golems, hoping to find something of value. She strikes silver, literally, as she finds 27 shiny coins and a few measly bronze. Congratulations, Xanthia. You are now officially wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. So, depending on what mood you're in, you can now adjust the narrative style to match your mood. Xanthia approaches the locked rusting iron door on the southeast wall, eyeing it up and down, with a hint of curiosity and a dash of suspicion. As she inspects the door, a mild noise creeps onto her face. An illusion spell exists on the door, giving it a false sense of appeal. She struggles a bit with the physical lock, realizing that it's not as easy as she thought. With a chuckle, she contemplated breaking it down, knowing that the sturdy door might put up a good fight. So in this case, I actually have all three potential options. So dispel, pick, or bash. We will just try to pick. You can also sit there and just go through the dungeon normally. In this case, which would be interact. And we did actually successfully pick. Xanthia takes a deep breath and gets to working on the intricacies of the locking mechanism. Her deft fingers move with such a speed that it is almost as if they are dancing across the surface of the lock. With a triumphant smirch, she figures out the puzzle and circumvents the lock, causing it to unlock. Well, that was just a child's play for her, wasn't it? Yes, it was. So, obviously it's being humorous with a sarcastic sense. And we will go to Abandoned Dungeon one last time. And we will stick with level 1 mines. And we will go with no override and just let the dungeon decide for our actual playthrough, so you guys can see the RP skills in a little bit more depth. Quiet night. Everyone must be prepping for D4 or something. Xanthia's journey through the Dragon Spines Mountain had been long and perilous. She had encountered all manners of dangers along her way to the abandoned dwarven mine of Grydosh. The landscape was harsh and unforgiving, and the presence of hostile creatures made the journey all the more difficult. However, nothing could prepare her for the sight that awaited her as she approached the entrance to the mines. Once the bustling heart of the dwarven kingdom, the mines now lay silent and desolate. But something was different now. There was an eerie hum in the air, and the very stones themselves were reverberating with an unseen power. The sudden burst of activity after 500 years of being abandoned did not bode well for the already jarred adventurer. As she neared the entrance, Xanthia's sharp senses detected signs of movement and life. She listened carefully, straining to catch any sound that might give her a clue as to what's happening inside. She tightened her grip on her mace and drew her magical sword as she prepared to face whatever lay ahead. With a deep breath, she stepped into the unknown. Battle time. Battle's almost over. Boom, boom. And again, examine is what triggers most of the determines the RP skills that you can actually use. It does vary based on your character. So if you're a wizard, you're more likely to get all the dispels and everything. I've not updated the character sheet to display these yet. That is something that I've got to do as well. And as you use the skills, they actually have their own experience that they keep track of, and they will level up. Xanthia takes a step closer to the rusty iron door, examining it carefully with keen eyes. With a wave of her hand, she unleashes a burst of magic, revealing an illusionary spell woven into the metal surface. Though she might have expected as much, Xanthia still feels a sense of satisfaction as she confirms her suspicion. She tries the handle out of habit, finding it locked and barred by physical means. It seems that the door this door was meant to keep something out, or perhaps something in. Whatever the case may be, Xanthia knows that she'll need to be prepared for whatever lies ahead. So I'll go ahead and solve this one normally, just to show you guys that that's possible still. Or if you happen to not get any, or all of your RP skills fail, you can still solve it naturally. Xanthia tentatively reached out to touch the rough, rusted surface of the outdoor. As she does so, a shower of flakes fall away, revealing a peculiar puzzle that she must solve before she can unlock the door and continue on her quest. 4 levers are mounted beside the door, each bearing a different symbol: a sword, a shield, a dragon, and a crown. Above them is a cryptic poem etched in stone, the stone wall, hinting at the order which the levers should be pulled. With a furrowed brow, Xanthia studies the poem, searching for clues that will lead her to the treasure hidden beyond the door. Wow, that's a long poem. I'm just going to solve this by the Wechsler algorithm. Wow, chat is so quiet today. Xanthia definitely manipulates the levers, hearing a satisfying click as the click of the unlocked resting on the iron door. The ancient door swings open with a groan, revealing a dark passage beyond. The faint smell of sulfur wafts out, mixed with the metallic scent of blood from the two dead tin golems at her feet. The adventurer steps forward into the unknown, ready to face whatever lays ahead. Guess that's my hint that I should loot these golems. Or perhaps I should loot them. Never know. But you can see that my responses with OpenAI are, even with the slightly longer descriptions, are then minimal. It's still responding a little bit faster. Xanthia definitely searched the lifeless bodies of the 10 golems. They had stood little chance against her, and now she rummaged through their metallic corpses. She found a few meager rewards for her efforts. A small handful of silver and bronze coins jingled in her palm, and she gave a small sigh. It wouldn't be enough for her to retire on, but it was better than leaving empty-handed. Xanthia pocketed her meager loot and turned her attention to the rusting iron door on the north wall, her heart racing with anticipation of what was beyond. Okay. This is going to look pretty normal. I have not actually gotten through all of the objects yet in terms of adding the RP skills, so some of these may or may not work in terms of demonstrating that, but I should be able to get through the dungeon regardless. Xanthia approached the heavy steel portcullis on the east wall. The metallic gate loomed over her, its intricate bars and locks mocking her advance. She tries to reach the locking mechanisms, but her fingers fail to find purchase. The portcullis remains locked, impenetrable, so was not able to do anything there. And that means I'm just going to have to pull the lever. Xanthia's dark eyes scanned the room, taking in the silence that surrounded her. Tension coiled tightly in her chest as she approached the large oak lever, her hands settling on the rough, gnarled surface. With a swift, decisive movement, she pulled the lever, and the sound of metal clanking reverberated off the dungeon walls. The heavy steel portcullis slowly raised, revealing a path forward. Xanthia breathed in slowly, ready for whatever lay beyond. And the reality here is I am just trying to find the dwarf to talk to. Because there are things that were added to conversations as well. Xanthia approached the large oak lever with a sense of purpose. She wraps her glove firmly around the handle and pulls it back with a swift, fluid motion. The lever yields easily, groaning as it settles in motion. A series of metallic clicks and clanks. The south wall portcullis slowly rises, revealing what lies beyond in the dimly lit dungeon. And I'm going to make a note that we've got a furnace here, because that is always important later. And we've got a wraith, and I've just got to advance to the wraith, because he will not come to me. Okay, victorious. Xanthia effortlessly sifts through the remains of the race, searching for anything of value. Her keen elven eyes spot a small vial amongst the ashes, a mystic blue mana potion. She pockets her find, ready for any challenges that may lay ahead. Should probably drink a pot. Okay, we've got water and light. I should make note of those as well. Angel. have an iron golem. What's an iron golem doing in here? And this is level 1, so I'm not really spoiling anything. This one's designed to be easy. Easy. In air quotes. Alright, that door is open. There's an orange. There's something I'm going to need to deal with later. Drink a pot. Whew. 3 orange. Lots to douse there. Once I get that far. And something to douse here as well. Can't believe chat is so quiet. Nobody has said anything. And I know you guys are watching too, as I can see. Guys are all just lurking today, which is fine. I will continue to play my game on screen for your amusement. And there's, oh, I forgot to mark that one as orange. Orange. And we've got locked doors here. I'm being foolish with my spells. We've got another water basin. Yeah, we got a couple levers. Those should open the portcullises. The steel portcullis creaks and groans as Xanthia pulls the large oak lever. The noise echoes through the room, causing her to pause and listen for any signs of danger. But all she hears is the sound of metal clanking against metal as the portcullis slowly rises. With a nod of satisfaction, Xanthia steps confidently forward, her magic short sword at the ready. Boom, 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 boom. So this is looking pretty much like you guys have already seen so far. And I just bypassed that. Xanthia approached the large oak lever and pulled it with ease, causing a loud clanking of metal to fill the room. She waited patiently as the heavy steel portcullis on the west wall slowly began to rise, revealing what lay beyond. Did I mark this orange? I did. Alright, we will continue going this way. Oof. Okay, now we got some interesting things going on. I need to do fireball and that. Alright, how do these things open? Pot. Examine. We will see what this comes up with. Xanthia takes a moment to survey the unlit steel brazier in the center of the room. It's cold and unremarkable to the naked eye, but her experience tells her otherwise. She senses that this brazier is connected to the element of fire, a magical trigger waiting to be pulled. A quick glance reveals a striking stick chain attached to the brazier, waiting for the right moment to be activated. Xanthia knows that this brazier is the second of 2 objects needed to impact the heavy steel portcullis on the west wall. With confidence, she takes note of the trigger and moves on to her next action. So that was quite a bit more information than we would normally get. It told you what portcullis it's going to impact and even the order, which again was all RP skill rolled. Xanthia rolled pretty well that time. Xanthia gazes on the unlit steel brazier, her keen eyes fixated on the striking stick hanging from a chain. The brazier, once a source of fiery light, is now cold and lifeless. She senses the dormant element of fire within it, waiting for it to be unleashed. With a steady hand, Xanthia strikes the chain with the stick, causing the unlit brazier to rattle and the heavy steel portcullis to rumble. The brazier, now activated, awaits its fate. Well, there's AI continuing still. It did none of those things. You'll notice that Xanthia, as a fire mage, or just a wizard, has now the ability to cast spells. Even though this one was second, the abilities, the skills, the RP skills allow you to actually circumvent even the ordering. So if I happen to cast a fire spell on this and it works, the order no longer matters. Xanthia focuses her energy and taps into her fire magic, directing a powerful spell towards the unlit steel brazier. The spell hits its target, causing the brazier to ignite with a burst of flame that spreads across the room. The magical trigger has been activated, and Xanthia can feel the energy shifting around her. She knows that this is just the beginning of what promises to be an intense and thrilling adventure. So again, I can use my cast fire on this one, and hopefully everything works. Oh, we got a summon. As Xanthia waits in the dimly lit room, her heart, the heat from the active forges intensifies and makes her sweat, even through her leather armor. Suddenly, the sound of metal clanking against metal fills the air. She turns to see the forge at the end of the room has crafted a new tin golem. Despite its shiny and new appearance, Xanthia knows that she must end its existence, just as she did with the previous one. She readies her rare mace and magical short sword, ready to face whatever this dungeon has in store. So, door did open, but we got a summons in its place. I will read the description as soon as I win in battle. Okay. With a flick of her wrist and an incantation in her throat, Xanthia conjures a spell of fire that dances wickedly across the room. It lands squarely on the unlit steel brazier, causing it to sputter to life with crackling flames. The brazier shakes and rumbles as it builds up its mighty inferno, triggering the clanking of metal as the portcullis slowly rises before her. Woohoo! And we've got another base in here. And that's interesting. So we will examine this door. Xanthia approached the north wall and examines the locked door. It's circular and divided into two parts, one side showing swirling images of water, while the other depicts dark shadows. The door is locked by some kind of powerful magic, and there is no telling what lies beyond it. So I can actually circumvent potentially all of it by just saying, nope, I'm just going to dispel the magical ward. Xanthia focuses her energy on the magical ward that has been placed on the locked door. With intense concentration, she begins to unravel the threads of its enchantment until finally, with a burst of energy, the ward dissipates completely. The lock on the door clicks open, and Xanthia stands ready to discover what lies beyond. So normally I would have had to go find a water basin and something representing dark and to open the door. But in this case, I just dispelled the magic ward on it, and off I go. And we can go ahead and examine this. See what's going on. Xanthia's eyes fell upon the well, gleaming in the dim light of the dungeon. Its cool, refreshing waters appear inviting, promising respite from the grueling journey thus far. She approached it, caressing the sides with a gloved hand, revealing the finely crafted stonemanship. Without a moment's hesitation, she dipped her hand into the water, relishing in its revitalizing chill. I will go ahead and interact. And yes, I am intentionally ignoring loot, because that's what I do. Xanthia's keen eyes settled upon the rope dangling down the well. Perhaps it was for drawing water. She gave it a tug, feeling the weight as something heavy was fastened to the end. As she heaved it up, a bucket lined with dwarven ruins emerged from the depths, shimmering with magical energy that seemed to pulse with each labored breath. Could this mysterious liquid douse the fiery forges? There is only one way to find out. And obviously I've gotten a magical bucket. And that bucket is used to douse forges. Which hopefully everyone knows by now. Xanthia quickly grabs the nearby bucket and expertly douses the flames of the active forge. The intense glow fades and the heat dissipates into the stale dungeon air. The room fell silent once again, the only sound of the soft patter of water droplets. And we will have to douse others. Xanthia calmly approached the active forge, her eyes narrowing as she studies the flickering flames. With a firm grip on the bucket, she swiftly moves towards the blaze and douses it with a splash of water. The hiss and steam rises up like a warning, but Xanthia remains unfazed as she takes in her surroundings. Taking a deep breath, she readies herself for what lies ahead. Douse again. Xanthia moves swiftly towards the glowing embers, a deadly determination in her eyes. The heat is suffocating, but she doesn't falter. With a flick of her wrist, she summons a magical bucket and snatches it from thin air. Without a moment's hesitation, she flings the water at the raging inferno, watching as the flames hiss and steam. The sound echoes through the dungeon, signaling that the elf assassin and fire wizard here stuff out any spark of danger. All right. That's those three. And we got another 10 golem. Nothing like fighting armies of 10 golems. Maybe I should have set this to sarcastic and it would be a more entertaining adventure. Douse. Xanthia moves swiftly towards the active forge, the flames illuminating the room as she reaches for a magical bucket at her side. With practiced ease, she douses the flames, extinguishing the fire with a hiss. The darkness once again engulfs the room as the last embers fade, leaving behind only the sound of Xanthia's steady breaths. And we've got another one to douse. Xanthia moved towards the active forge, her eyes scanning the area for any potential dangers. With a quick glance to ensure that she is alone, she douses the flames with the magical bucket. The hiss of the dying fire echoes throughout the room as the embers flicker and die, leaving the area shrouded in darkness once more. We can go ahead and open this portcullis. Can't believe how quiet chat is. Xanthia steps forward, eyeing the massive oak lever before her. With a deft hand, she grabs hold of it and pulls, feeling a satisfying clank as the metal of the portcullis obediently rises. Shadows flicker across the wall as she peers through the newly opened gateway, ever watchful for any signs of danger. And we've got another golem here. Things, but that's okay. This level's supposed to be easy. Go ahead and pull that one. Xanthia strides towards the large oak lever, gripping it with a confident hand. She gives it a strong pull, and the sound of clanking metal echoes through the deserted dungeon. The heavy steel portcullis slowly rises, revealing a passage beyond, and Xanthia steps through without hesitation. And there's another locked door over here that I missed. Yep. Like, where is the dwarf I'm supposed to talk to? It's got to be here somewhere. Xanthia steps forward and grasps the large oak lever with confidence. After a moment of strain, the lever eases back with a satisfying clunk. The sound of grinding metal fills the room as one of the heavy steel portcullises begins to slowly rise. The darkness beyond the room beckons, luring Xanthia further into the depths of the dungeon. Hey, it's another golem to take out. As I'm full of sarcasm. Like I said, I should have said it's sarcastic. Just because that seems to be my mood today. Xanthia moves towards the flickering flames of the active forge, eerily illuminating the room. With swift movement, she grabs a bucket of water and pours it over the fiery inferno, extinguishing it with a loud hiss. The room plunges into darkness once again as smoke rises from the extinguished forge. And this door was already open. And there's where the dwarf I can talk to is going to be. Just to show you guys the features there. Because they not only impact the items, but the conversations. Hopefully I can dispel this one and I don't have to go through the trouble of solving it either. Xanthia approaches the locked circular stone door on the north wall. As she examines it closely, she notices that the left section depicts as light, while the right depicts water. She also sees a small angelic statue tied to the door, which seems to be connected to the small empty basin on the ground. What could this mysterious door be hiding? Xanthia furrows her brow and contemplating her next move. So, okay, did not discover anything I can do with that door. So, Angel is going to be first. This is why we keep notes. Angel's there. And then it's going to be one of the mini buckets. Oh, we've got a golem hiding. Hello, Mr. Golem. Why are you attacking me? I wonder when people are going to figure that out. Alright, so we will go ahead and examine this statue. As Xanthia examines the small angelic statue, she notices it's intricately detailed and expertly crafted. But as she turns her attention away from the statue to survey the rest of the room, her eyes are drawn to the circular stone door on the east wall. It's clear that this door is meant to be opened, but it requires the activation of two objects. The statue appears to be the first of these, and Xanthia takes note of its significance before moving on to search for the second. So nothing I can do with that one other than actually activate it. Although it did tell me everything that it does, which is nice. Xanthia reaches out to touch the small angelic statue. As her fingers brush against the surface, the statue suddenly grows with a radiant light. She blinks, momentarily blinded by the sudden brightness, before she realizes that the statue activation has likely triggered some sort of response within the room. She readies her weapons, prepared for whatever might come next, and waits for the next visible sign of danger, of the dungeon's mysteries to reveal themselves. Okay. We'll go ahead and examine this one. Xanthia's sharp eyes flicker in the small empty basin on the ground as she cautiously examines the room for any clues. The basin appears to be of no significant importance, at least at first, but with a sudden realization, Xanthia recognizes it as a magic trigger, a necessary component to activate the intriguing stone door. The basin must be triggered after the first object, undoubtedly discovered elsewhere in the dungeon. Xanthia files this information away to keep her mind prepared. To keep in her mind, preparing herself for the next step in her mission. Okay, so I'm going to guess that one is our second one. Let's see if it actually opens. Xanthia gingerly touches the small empty basin on the ground, feeling a slight sense of trepidation mixed with excitement. As she does so, the basin begins to fill with water, the sounds of droplets echoing through the room. Suddenly, with a loud click, the circular storm door, separated into two parts, unlocks. With a creak, it slowly rolls open, revealing yet another mysterious passage beyond. The adrenaline starts pumping in Xanthia's veins as she readies to plunge even deeper into the dungeon. So that opened the door. And we will now go talk to the dwarf, which is the last thing that I want to show off. Right, there's the dwarf we can talk to. Greetings, traveler. What brings you to these parts? So you'll notice you actually have additional options now. There's persuade and intimidate. If you just say something, it does nothing, essentially, or it's just like it was before. I'm here investigating the mines. Investigating the mines. Investigating, you say? What kind of investigation? I'm going to happen to try to persuade this time. I'm investigating the reports of the mines once again being active. Do you happen to know anything? You'll notice that it actually flashes between red and green because it doesn't know if the persuasion's successful or failed yet. When the reply comes back from the server, it will tell you. As OpenAI is being slow for this one. It was very nice and fast for everything else. I can tell you the persuasion's successful, though. As it is just waiting on OpenAI right now. Oh, it's been doing so good all day today. There it goes. I'm afraid I don't have much information for ye. I've been trying to explore the ruins myself, but these blasted tin golems have been getting in the way. Not sure what's going on down here. Now I'm going to try to intimidate. I think you do know what's going on down here. Tell me everything you know right now. And I failed this time. Hold on there, lass. You have no right to be speaking to me in this manner. Ye best watch your manners around me, or there will be trouble. As for the mines, as said, I don't know of much information. If you have business here, ye best be careful. The ruins can be a dangerous place, and these tin golems are no joke. And you'll notice that she actually terminated the conversation because my intimidation check failed. But good times. Essentially, this allows you in a conversation to have more weight. If you're trying to actually persuade them to do something, you can now actually use roleplay checks to essentially tell the game system to perform that persuasion, and then roll of the dice will decide if it's successful or not. If you just want to have your words be persuasive enough with the AI, you can continue to just use say. But that's that. And that is essentially everything that I wanted to show. I could very easily complete this level by dousing all the forges, but I don't think there's a need to go through that exercise. And since it's being a very, very quiet day in chat, I think I'll just call the stream here unless you guys have questions. If not, well, it's been a fun stream. And like I said, I will deploy this tomorrow, even if it's not fully ready and done. But I can pretty much guarantee you that it's not going to be completely done. I can show you why. So here is the spreadsheet of all the items that I have done and coded with RP skills, or decided that they weren't needed for RP skills. And here is all the ones that I still have left to review. It's taken me about 3 days to do all the doors, which are the big ones. So I'd probably another couple days to get all of these done. But we'll get there, or I'll get there, and then you guys can play and enjoy. I'm just looting chests at this point, waiting to see if you guys have questions. If not, I will be playing Diablo 4 tomorrow. I might even create a little Diablo channel and hang out in the Discord server. As always, make sure to like and subscribe if you have not done so already. And if you guys want to actually comment one of your character names, I will give you guys a couple hundred VQ coins. But I doubt anyone's going to be watching the video to this point on replay. So if you're watching live and you want some VQ coins, go ahead and comment in the comment section and with your character name, and I will give you VQ coins. And with that, have a great evening, everyone.